Hey friends, Rob Phoenix Hexameister here. Hope you're all doing well. I got the replacement microphone shield today, so hopefully the sound is better. Sorry about the hair, I just got out of the shower. Tonight I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to review a witchcraft book. And the book I'm going to review is called Folk Witchcraft, A Guide to Lore, Land, and the Familiar Spirit for the Solitary Practitioner by Roger J. Horn. This is what it looks like. I love everything about this book, and let me tell you why. I think this is actually like this is what I would consider to be proper traditional witchcraft. It's pretty much like the cunning craft. It's like the ancestry of powwowing and hexameister work. The only thing that sets it apart from that is the perspective of the person that's practicing it. And I don't know how to put it into words, but he explains witchcraft as a folk practice, not bogged down by things like harm at none or the threefold law or magic with a K or Wicca or any of that stuff that's just meant to like control and confine things. He talks about folk witchcraft in terms of, it's just people doing what they need to do when they need to do it, very much like powwowing work. It's kind of what I was saying in one of my recent videos. Sometimes magic isn't pretty. Sometimes we get our hands dirty, and even our souls get a little dirty at times, and that's magic. That's folk magic, and that's also folk witchcraft. Now I love that he has a grasp on history here. He is not deluded by fantasy that the world was somehow the mists of Avalon and the Christians came sweeping through and converted everybody on the spot and then took all their ritualistic stuff and put it in the Bible. He's not deluded by that ridiculous fantasy. He works with proper history. And while I have had traditional witchcraft training, it was not this. This is better. Anybody who... let me just jump back a bit. Everybody knows that powwow is very heavy on the anti-witch stuff. But that's anti-evil. It's anti-curses for the sake of doing curses. Evil for the sake of being evil. And there is a lot of that in this day and age, unfortunately. It's not anti-witch insofar as we hate witches, because I myself started out as a witch. And I still use a lot of that stuff in my practice. So, in some circles I might be considered a Christian witch or a folk witch. I don't know, but I prefer Hexenmeister. Just because I stick within a cultural parameter. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, he talks a lot about the practical aspects of magic. He doesn't spell it with a K, which already makes me hugely respectful of him, and he really gets into a lot of what I teach, like working with your land, helping your land to grow what it can grow if you have that luxury, and also connecting with the spirits of your land, which we do in Powwow Brockerai Hexameister work. Astral travel, which I'm a big proponent of. Also working with spirits and ancestors and such. That's folk witchcraft. Also like nature spirits and things, which I've really started diving into this past spring when we put up the greenhouse and really like expanded our gardens and such. But then just simple folk magic, using the things that you grow and simple basic stuff that you find in the woods or around your house or whatever. What's really nice about this is that you can practice anything in this book without having to go to azuregreen.com and ordering a whole bunch of mass-produced crap. I'm actually going to check out his other books. It says he's an author, folk witch, and modern animist. There is some animism stuff in here. And you can see he has a lot of Scottish influence. like towards the back of the book, there are some like conjurations and things of maybe like old gods and such that I personally am not interested in, but they're really well done. It's really nice. I think you'll enjoy that. Author, folk witch, modern animist. His main leanings seem to be Appalachian, like conjure, and with, you know, of course Scottish is involved in that, but very much what the cunning folk were doing. This is like proper witchcraft. Like I said, it's like the old grimoire magic, the old Christian grimoires. And he even says in here, you know, witchcraft as it is known was formed amongst a Christian sort of worldview, and has become what it's become. And it's become watered down and kind of stupid and new agey in a lot of circles. But I think this kind of takes it back to its roots, and he's basically saying, let's just be witches. Let's not, you know, let's just do what we need to do to help our families and our homes and our property and our animals and our crops. And let's just do magic in the old way and not worry about silly things like threefold laws and Gerald Gardner and ceremonial magic and such. Like, just keep it simple and keep it folksy. I love that. That's why I always say I'm like a folk Christian, because it takes it back to its roots, and it brings it down to a simplistic approach. I think you should get this book. I think I don't remember what I paid for it. I don't think it was very much, or I wouldn't have gotten it. I'm sure it was less than $20. It's very nicely done. It's kind of like on that old-fashioned paper, and it has like an old school font, which I like. I love that he didn't go through, you know, like Llewellyn or Red Wheel Wise or whatever it's called. It's more sincere when it's just published on its own. It's just, I think that's more sincere. Really good book. There are like there are some sort of holiday kind of little things you can do. Not sure how to say it. He's not a big fan of like the wheel of the year, you know, because like he says in here, no ancient culture ever celebrated the wheel of the year. There's just no evidence to that. So he talks about some of the favorites, like Halloween and such, 12th Night, May Eve, Candlemas. So there you go. But yeah, good book. I think if you're looking for a reset or something simple and folksy and Christian folk magic, if it isn't for you, then you might try this. This is basically what we're doing, except we keep it within a Christian context. But I really like this. So good stuff. So Folk Witchcraft by Roger J. Horn. He's the author of The Witch's Art of Incantation, A Broom at Midnight, and The Charmer's Root. I've not heard of any of them, but this just came across, you know, my field of vision when I was scrolling through Amazon the other day, and so it looked good, and I'm glad I got it. I mostly read all of it. Some parts I just skimmed through, but the things that I had never heard of, especially, I paid closer attention to and read, and I like his introduction. Great book, highly recommend it. And it does kind of, there's this whole sort of like primitive vibe to it. It reminds me of when I'm out in my greenhouse doing some of my charms, or working out in the garden and doing some powwowing work while out there. Very good stuff. So definitely recommend it. It's worlds above and better than any of the New Age neo-paganism nonsense that's out there today. This is good stuff. So anyway, definitely recommend it. And yeah, if you're not gonna be a powwow, or practice like a proper American folk tradition, if you're gonna do witchcraft, I think do it the right way. I think this is the right way. And I've spent my whole life studying this stuff, and I'm in my 50s now. I'm an old man, and I can speak from experience that this is far better witchcraft than anything I've learned. So that's it. Hope everybody's having a good night. Tomorrow I will be having an interview with Richard Biggs, author of a bunch of cryptid books. So we'll be talking about that. So check in for that. And that's it. God bless you. I love you. We'll talk again really soon.